Member Doug Woolerton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. New Zealand First wants every single citizen of this country to know something that we have been saying for many years now. New Zealand First will not sell strategic assets. We will not sell strategic assets. And we are very, very pleased that other people are starting to come on board with that message, because that is what New Zealanders want, Mr. Speaker. New Zealanders want to know that those things that were gained by the sweat of the brow of former generations through hard work and sacrifice will not be flogged off to people to the advantage of other countries. And New Zealand First has made that an issue in its very name and has followed that up ever since we were formed, Mr. Speaker. And we will take that into this next election. National just last week has said that they will not sell assets, strategic assets, in the first term. And if you put that around the other way, you could say National said last week, we will sell strategic assets in the second term. And of course they will. And they will sell more than strategic assets. They will have schools for developers. You will see, Mr. Speaker, Bob Clarkson's portfolio, which now includes retail shops all over Tauranga, extending to schools. Well, there's no about that. That's what he does. And exactly. And the National Party says, so what? They're quite happy for Mr. Clarkson to own schools or any other developer in this country. And their response to that is, so what? The National Party dithered around over the recent sale of the Auckland airport and first said they didn't know whether they would or not. When Labor, thank heavens, stopped the sale, National said, well, of course they would have sold it. And we knew all along that they would have sold it. Why Mr. Key couldn't say that right off the bat, I don't know. That airport is returning to New Zealanders $101.9 million in the last financial year. $101.9 million year on year on year. And that is something that we have to learn in this country, and that's something that we want to say to the shareholders of Auckland Airport who are moaning about the fact that they couldn't make a windfall gain. In other words, they only bought the share for a quick sell-off, for a quick sale, for a quick profit. We want to say to them, shares in New Zealand should be bought and investment should be made for the long-term benefit of the company, of the entity, and the long-term benefit of this country. And that is what we said about Fonterra. That is another iconic company that was built up by former generations in this country, and New Zealand First fought and thank heavens seats were seen by the shareholders of that company, and so the shares were not listed on the stock market. Because we want to see citizens of this country grow their wealth through the wealth of companies that they have a beneficial holding in. We do not want to see short-term capital gain become the whole sole purpose of the New Zealand Stock Exchange and the stock market. We have another situation down further south where a little company called Nutritech is being taken over by Russians, and it is the same thing. And mark my words, the New Zealand dairy industry is under threat, because bit by bit by bit, people from other countries will come in and grab that absolutely prized export commodity of the New Zealand farmers. New Zealand First is the only party in this parliament that can stand up with an unblemished record of opposing asset sales, and we will continue to do that into the next years ahead. It is no use people running around and papers reporting that New Zealand First, by some way or another, is going to disappear at the next election. That is not going to happen. Everybody is hoping that that will happen. I remember a speaker. Do you remember a speaker of this House that said we were going to be dog tucker? Mr. Speaker, he is dog tucker, and we are still here, and we're going to remain, and we are going to stop these asset sales.